Hi, I'm Stephen Biller. I'm the editor-in-chief of Palm Springs Life magazine, and I'm here with Steve Maloney, and we're going to talk about his artwork. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing well, thanks, Stephen.
Nice to see you in your studio, and looking forward to talking about what's right behind you there, that mighty colorful beast. So in our last conversation, we had our virtual studio visit, and we talked about your work with found objects and a little bit about you as an artist. And now I want to focus a little bit about your current project, Take Me Home, Huey. Can you talk a little bit about the project and a little bit about what's different from previous work?
Sure, be happy to. Take Me Home, Huey is a multimedia project. It combines a boneyard helicopter that's been transformed into a piece of art, call it the sculpture, and also a documentary film we won a LA Emmy Award with, which is very satisfying. And it also combines a song, and then coming up will be a book. The project itself honors the over 2,700,000 or more Vietnam veterans that served and never got a welcome home. And this is a part of welcoming them home. It's a part of honoring them through the 50th commemoration of the Vietnam War. It's actually been on tour around the United States, and it's been very, very rewarding. I think the most rewarding part about the project itself is the fact that it touched the lives of veterans.
Why did you choose a Huey helicopter as your medium?
So, started thinking about that period of time, and the iconic symbol of the Vietnam War was the Huey helicopter. This Huey helicopter did many things. Not only did it transport wounded, but it transport soldiers into hell and out of hell, and they brought their mail and their beans and everything else to them. So it was a real iconic symbol, especially the sound, the whoop, whoop, whoop of that rotor blade. What you see back here, to Take Me Home, Huey, this aircraft actually flew in Vietnam and served as a medevac unit in part of its lifetime there.
It's a lot of weight to carry into a work of art. Can you talk a little bit about the creative process?
Took a lot of thought, and took some research and reading books, seen some films about the Vietnam era. I took the structural piece, the fuselage of the helicopter, and thought of it really as the tail boom as an example, as a soldier's arm that would be tattooed. And what would he have on a tattoo? What would he tattoo on his arm? Probably things that he remembered at home, his girlfriend or his family car, maybe mom's apple pie. And then, so that was a catalyst for it, for the thinking about what can I do as part of a composition. I had a great studio assistant, so with Photoshop and illustrations, we were able to come up with a composition that worked. Yeah, the creative process. I mean, it took a long time to get it right. Just working through the process and being open about it. When I was there at the Air Museum in a tent as my pop-up studio, I could engage in conversations with various vets. And then they would see a composition that I had on a paper or whatnot, or the actual helicopter itself, and we could start talking. And they thought I was on the right track. So all of this kind of combined made the composition.
Experience this work a lot differently than they would most historic helicopters that are, in museums. The interaction is a very different experience. Can you talk a little bit about how the visitor interacts with your work?
Well, for sure, they can touch it. Most art can't be touched, but what's terrific about this piece is that you can touch it, and I encourage it. And you can see that. And a lot of veterans, when it was first on exhibit, would say, "Can I touch it?" And I say, "Sure, go ahead." The way that this has actually been a healing helicopter, in the sense that veterans that served during this period of time in Vietnam can relate. And now with this exhibit, it's given them a way to talk. It's been a Kickstarter or a catalyst for conversation, especially, and especially a lot of them suffer with PTSD. So it's good. Talk is good.
And you've had it in 11 states, you said, 29 different venues?
29 different venues throughout the United States. Can you imagine rolling up on a trailer, standing on a trailer with a helicopter in the New York Veterans Day Parade on Fifth Avenue? That was one of the great experiences. And at that period of time, we had the crew with us that had been connected, as I mentioned, after 47 years, including Jeannie Cunningham that sang the song, Take Me Home, Huey, that's part of the project. That was an unbelievable experience. Another terrific memory is escorting it into the Henry Ford grounds, and then the helicopter being lifted off the trailer with a crane and then set in place during the 4th of July weekend. And people came from 3 or 4 different states. They'd heard about it on the news. I spent most of my time really just listening to these vets and their relatives. And I'll tell you, it was really, really emotional. Each one of our stops has been quite emotional. There was another motorcade when we went to the Nevada Museum of Art in Reno. We were on exhibit there. So able to show the film, have the exhibit itself, the helicopter, have the song played. It all kind of relates. It all impacts all senses. It's still working. It's at the Palm Springs Air Museum on exhibit, and it's still doing its job. And I couldn't be prouder. I'll tell you, I just couldn't be prouder. I had no idea that a piece of my art would take this, would take such a path. I mean, you do the best job you can as an artist, and but who knows how deep and connected it would be. I'm so humbled by the experience of being able to create something like this. It's had such a big impact.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredibly satisfying. Let's talk about what's coming up next for you and for the project. I know that there's a book in the works. Can you talk a little bit about the book and when we'll be able to see it? Oh, wow. Look at the size of that thing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Take Me Home, Huey, Honoring American Heroes Through Art. The book is coming up. March 29th is our launch date. That's a day to honor Vietnam veterans. And we're going to have an event. Hopefully we can do it in person, and it will be at the Palm Springs Air Museum. And it'll be exciting. I think we'll also do something with the time capsule that day as well. Probably the film and Jeannie and singing a song, and maybe even have the movie played. Anyway, we're working on all the details. It's exciting. The book is, I'm glad we waited until this point because we've got a lot of material now that, of course, from this experience of traveling the Take Me Home, Huey around the country, that's included in it. It's
fascinating work, Steve, and I really appreciate you allowing me to visit your studio in a virtual way. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing the work in person.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen. Appreciate it. Nice seeing you again and talking about it all.